Antifa is just short for anti-fascist. It's not a club you can join. There are no membership dues, but they have matching signs. Okay, well, I guess we better round up these domestic terrorists, too. They look pretty matching to me. Listen. I'm going to tell you this. Spread it around. There's no chaos in Portland. None. There is no chaos in Chicago. There was no chaos in Los Angeles. They're pretending there's chaos as a pretense for a military takeover. But I'm open-minded. If there is chaos in these cities Trump calls hellholes, let's see it and decide if something needs to be done about it. Day for Donald Trump. You know what? He finally did something positive today, and I want to give him credit for it because I know he's not the type to take credit for himself. Trump was in Israel and Egypt today to celebrate a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. All 20 Israeli hostages are home after 738 days.
Let's talk about Portland now. We've certainly seen political violence in that place. Donald Trump is determined to clean it up. He says it's like a war zone. It's in decay. It's crime-riddled. The Oregon governor obviously doesn't agree. The Socialist City Council doesn't agree. But even the New York Times, Josh, is finally questioning the wisdom of far-left rule and asking what happens when socialists are in charge. Portland offers a glimpse. Josh, let's take a glimpse at Portland. This is the third world conditions you have to negotiate to reach Barnes and Noble at the Lloyd Center.
In Lloyd Center, and we parked in the parking garage, and now we're going to go up the stairs into the mall. And this is what is here. I wish you could smell it, because it smells like pee. New pee and old pee. Watch your step, there's pee on the floor.
So this is the only way to get upstairs if you're parked right here to get to Lloyd Center.
Josh, I'll take that back. I've been to third world countries. They're normally in a lot better shape than that.
You know, Portland once upon a time was a shining example of what a forward-looking and forward-thinking American city might look like. I'm thinking back 30, 40 years ago. But at this point, I think you're right, Rita. I've actually never been to Portland, but based on all that I've been able to glean there, my friend Andy No has been ground zero with the Portland Antifa riots for years and years now. Based on all that I've seen, I think you can make a very strong argument that Portland is in worse condition on a day-to-day basis from a cost of living, from a quality of life, from a crime perspective than your typical sub-Saharan African city. I mean, that's essentially what it looks like to me. But Portland has also become a shining example, unfortunately, of a broader national trend, which is you have these cities that are governed in politically monolithic fashion by Democrats year after year, decade after decade. I'm thinking of cities like Baltimore, Maryland, Detroit, Michigan, St. Louis, Missouri, Portland. So many of these cities just have mayor after mayor after mayor who are of one party only. Chicago, another big example there. I can't think of a single example. I literally cannot think of a single example off the top of my head of an American city that has had monolithic uniparty Democratic governance for decades and has been better off because of it. But the cherry on top is because the New York Times here, this is the article they're saying, oh, here's socialism at work. dude, you guys have covered for Zoran Mamdani. The New York Times has offered all sorts of apologia for Zoran freaking Mamdani, a guy, I would argue, for whom socialist is actually far too kind. This is a guy who literally quotes Karl Marx's Communist Manifesto. He is a dyed-in-the-wool Marxist communist. I think socialist is genuinely not accurate. He's an actual literal communist. So if the New York Times, a month before the election, that's probably going to put this Hamas-supporting pro-jihad commie in the mayoral office there. Really? You guys are crying foul this late in the game? You had a really long time, the New York Times, back in the Democratic primary to just try to stop him there. And now it's so ridiculous. But ultimately, Rita, you reap what you sow, and the people of New York, I think, are tragically going to reap what they sow here. And it's going to look a lot like Portland sooner rather than later, I fear.
Let's bring in Sky News contributor Kosha Gator. Kosha, we will speak about the momentous events in the Middle East shortly, but there is little doubt domestically Donald Trump's policies are having real impact, particularly when it comes to law and order, but they are still controversial policies, aren't they? They are getting a lot of heat from the media, from the activist class. Do you think he's going to continue this? Because he is paying a high price for implementing these policies.
He is, but I think he will because it strikes the heart of his agenda, whether it's getting the illegals out, that is his signature issue, and then not a byproduct, but sort of a ripple effect of that is also just restoring law and order in general, and that is so core to what he stands for. He knows the people support it. And as for the media or those protesters who, as you say, are mostly white, mostly not always boomers, like they seem to be elderly people, they are protesting. They will till the bitter end because it's a luxury belief for them to say things like, we don't want uniformed troops militarizing American cities, and like all those portrayals that are incorrect that they try to portray, that we're turning America into some sort of like military zone. They can afford to do that because they don't have to live with the consequences, like that lady, like those two gentlemen that you played, who can't even have their kids play in the backyard without fear of crossfire from gunshot wounds. So it's quite incredible, and they'll continue to do that. But I think as the ground support from the grassroots and more of those things come out, it's going to be harder and harder for them to continue those protests.
I mean, it's just astonishing that you've got someone who's never seen kids playing in the streets the whole time she's lived in that neighbourhood, who's not sat on her own porch feeling relaxed.
In America, which is so sad. And the homicide rate is 20, 30, 50, even 70 per 100,000. Which is crazy in the wealthiest nation on earth, in these cities that we know, West Philly, South Chicago, et cetera, Memphis. And the shining example that we talk about all the time is El Salvador, which was in that same range, and in less than 5 years, it's like here now. It's less than 2 per 100,000 homicides. So it can be done.
Yep.
And the question is, you just need the political will to do it.
Yeah, if they can do it in El Salvador, you can achieve it in Memphis, certainly.